Hello everyone, good morning and welcome to my daily report market analysis videos with me, Richard Perry, market analyst at Hantec on Thursday 29th of August. We have this actually a turnaround in sentiment today. Early morning today, when I first started looking at markets, it was still a little bit of a risk-off element to markets, whereby we had this continued flattening of the yield curve, with the 2 to 10 spread that was down around 4 or 5 basis points negative on the spread there. But what we've seen in the last hour or so is the announcement from China that they're going to be looking to push for talks with the US in September, and that really has impacted on sentiment across the board. We've seen a big turn higher on US futures. US futures were down around about 0.2, 0.3% early morning today. They've now swung higher by 0.5%. That's helped the UK and German markets, French markets, all swinging into around about 0.8-0.9% higher. And also what we've seen is the gold price, which was up around 1550. That has now swung back lower. That's dropped $10 back from that level and is now currently flat on the day. So this big turnaround in sentiment once again coming on the trade dispute and how that whole process is playing out. We've seen that oil has ticked a little bit higher today on US crude, fell back early today by about sort of 0.3-0.4%, but that's now trading a little bit higher. And interestingly enough, the commodity currencies, the majors on the Aussie and the Kiwi, they were quite considerably lower early morning today. So there's a big turnaround in sentiment on this announcement from China that they're pushing for trade talks in September with the US. We've also got the UK markets to look out for. What we've seen yesterday, where Boris Johnson has moved to prorogue Parliament, which means to suspend Parliament on the 12th of September, and that is going to that's creating an almighty row as to how this whole Brexit process is playing out, and whether that Boris Johnson is sort of manoeuvring Parliament towards a no-deal Brexit. What the response from the opposition parties is going to be will be very interesting next week now, and certainly ramps up the pressure for how these opposition parties play Boris Johnson at trying to prevent a no-deal Brexit. So sterling was sharply low yesterday, was holding on around about 22 big figure support, just fallen back again about 20 pips, and is now currently back below 22 figure once more today. So that takes me to all the data points we've got today. Not a huge amount this morning. We do have the regional German data for inflation, and that culminates at 1 o'clock with the countrywide data, and that's expected to be negative 0.1% on the month for August, which would drag the year-on-year inflation back to 1.5% on CPI. So what does that do will be the implications for Eurozone inflation tomorrow. That will be the key takeaway from that. Then the main point today is the US GDP, the second estimate, which is prelim GDP, and that's expected to show 2.0%, down from the advanced GDP reading of 2.1%, and also down from 3.1%. But 2% GDP growth of Q2 is still pretty decent for the US, and just reflects the fact that the US economy continues to outperform other major economies. And then later on in the afternoon, we've got pending home sales, which are expected to be flat on the month of July. Okay, so that takes me to my chart of the day, which is silver. Now, silver and gold have had strong runs higher. Silver accelerating higher throughout the past week, around about 7.5% into the close yesterday, and another 0% higher today, so that's around about 8.5% from that in the past week. Now, 1865, basically throughout the past week, it's been bursting through resistance levels, 1770, 1820. Look at that 1865 level, keep an eye on that. Look at the importance of that level. 1865 was that 2017 high. It basically hit that resistance this morning, has just ducked back a bit, but look at the RSI, 79 on the RSI. The the interesting point that we have here is that the market is looking pretty stretched, I think, whereby we can see that there's not a great deal of room really to further run. I think 1865 will be interesting, so we need to watch out for any sell signals or profit-taking signals on this hourly chart as to whether there's going to be a corrective move. Currently, we've got this uptrend of the past week that comes in around the 1830 level. Yesterday's reaction low was 1814, and I think that you'd be looking out for any sign on the hourly RSI of any reversal. Not really getting it yet. A little bit of an arguably a little negative divergence, you could say, on the hourly RSI, but I think you'd need to be seeing the hourly RSI underneath 50. We haven't seen that for a while. Hourly MACD lines, you'd want to see them that below neutral before you'd be confident enough to say that the run higher has played out. But for now, I think it continues to move higher. I think testing 1865 is key. A closing breakout again would be another key move. So are we going to see that? So I think it's a very interesting move that we have on silver in that move higher, and whether it can continue or not. So with that in mind, I wish you good luck in your trading. Click here to subscribe to our YouTube videos, but also go to our website where you can sign up for our trading webinars. Thank you.